21 minutes after 7 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Thursday morning. It is dark out there. I think this is the weekend coming up that we turn the clocks back. I'm not 100% sure. I'll ask Robin when she gets in here. Right now here at the studios of The Source, WOCA, broadcasting live from the Paddock Mall. It is 65 degrees, and the forecast calls for... Where's my little forecast here? Hey, what do I got here? I got a blank spot. Okay, here we go. 10% chance of rain, high temperatures in the mid-80s, and no mention of rain in tomorrow's forecast. Only 10% for Saturday, 20% for Sunday. Looks like a nice next few days. Looks like Halloween is going to be a good time for the kids, huh?
Yeah.
Going to be out there trick-or-treating and all that.
And yes, we turn the clocks back this Sunday.
Sunday morning.
Yep, 2
What is it, 2 a.m. specifically?
Yep, 2 a.m.
So 2 o'clock becomes 1 o'clock, or 3 o'clock becomes 2 o'clock? Or does it not matter?
2 becomes 1.
2 becomes 1. And in our day, you had to turn back every clock. And in today's day, the computers do it all for you, with a few exceptions, right?
I know. Isn't that amazing?
The most fun clock we ever had, which I guess died, was the satellite clock.
Oh, yeah. That was fun. That was really, really fun.
Yeah.
That was so cool. I think we still have it, though. I think it's still here.
It's an analog clock, for those who don't know what it was. It was an analog clock. In other words, it had the big hand and the little hand. Mm-hmm. And when the time would change, or like if you change batteries, the thing would somehow communicate to a satellite. It really didn't work that well. But when it worked, it was pretty cool, because you would actually see the thing spinning around, slowly but faster than normal.
Yeah, the hour hand. It was just like flying, it was hauling butt.
All right, let's see. There's a few things we can talk about today. There are some news items that we definitely want to make sure we offer commentary on, and we will open up the phone lines, as always, from 7:35 till 8, and ask you, if you want to comment on anything, to call in and comment. I guess one of the big things we'll squeeze into that slot is the debate last night, the Republican debate. I have only 3 sound bites that I decided to use. There were so many to choose from, but we can talk about it. And plus, I have the results of a CNBC poll indicating who the viewers thought won.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I have the same numbers on 2 different polls. Oh, I got 2 different numbers. This is interesting. Okay, I'll tell you that when we get there. And other things in the news as well. Veterans news today News Bites, of course, at 8:35. I think you all know what that is. What's the matter? I heard you. Sorry.
Oh, I know. But now we have another talent change for today at 11.
Oh, okay.
So the one that I did for 11 o'clock is now changed again. All right. That's okay.
Well, when we get there, you correct whatever I'm saying, because I know I'll say the wrong thing now.
Okay.
All right, so 8:35 is News Bites. 9:05 is Veterans News. Hank Whittier will be here with his guys, as he is every Thursday. Today's a half-hour show, right?
Yes, it is.
Lila Ivy and Linda Spence will be in the studio. We know both ladies. They're both beautiful ladies inside and out, and they are both with Hospice. They're coming in to talk to us about a program called Hospice Helps Everyone. Are you good to go?
Yes.
It's a seminar they're holding on November 12th, a couple of weeks from today, right?
Yes, that's right.
Manal Fakhouri is coming in, and she will be in the studio. She's the... oh gosh, there's so many things in our community, of course, but she's coming in today to talk to us about the TEDx event happening here in Ocala. I've become a TEDx fan. I say that with a little bit of reluctance, because it really depends on who's speaking. If you've ever watched any of the TEDx videos on YouTube, you probably know what I'm talking about. Some of them are not as astute at their topic as others are, but TEDx really is a great event to attract the best of the best in a community when it comes to public speaking and delivering topics that you can use. And so we'll find out from Manal who actually organized this. I think it was her. I know that Summer, what is Summer's last name?
Summer Gill.
Summer Gill is on the board of directors, I believe.
Yes.
Of the folks who managed this thing. Mm-hmm. I don't think either Manal or Summer are speakers, though, at TEDx. You know who is a speaker?
Who's that?
One of the names I remember is Tim Conway, not the actor, but the doctor, Tim Conway.
Oh, okay.
He's one of the speakers at the TEDx event. I remember looking at the list when we first found out about this. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Manal will be here to talk about that at 10:05.
Yeah, and she's the co-organizer with Princess Swan.
Princess Swan.
Yeah, Princess Swan is the other co-organizer.
I want to meet Princess Swan.
I know. I think this is so great.
Judy Blue is coming on at 10:35. right?
Yep.
She's a breast cancer survivor and a star of the soap operas. I don't know which ones.
Nope, don't know.
But she is a cast member of Menopause the Musical. You've probably heard us advertising that here on WOCA. She's got a lot of film and stage credentials. She's coming on to talk about Menopause the Musical. However, it's the Survival Tour is a fundraising event for Susan G. Komen, which is happening Wednesday, November 11th at the Curtis M. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts in Gainesville.
Yep. A super, super musical. My mom saw it. My aunt saw it. The ladies here saw it, and they just roared. They just really, really laughed out loud. A lot of fun.
All right, so who's coming on 11? I don't have...
No, that's right now. I read it wrong. Those two people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so Sharon,
I did it right.
Sharon Neese and Damon Stinson. You do it right every day. They're coming out to talk to us about labor shortages.
Yep.
Specifically in the waste and recycling industries and the impact on communities and working with veterans groups and technical schools to close the labor shortage gap in Florida. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
All right. I have a fun topic on Fun with Joe. It took me a long time to get this one together, too. Joe is really interested in Foley. For those who don't know what Foley is the sound effects used in movies. Quite often, you're probably familiar with seeing guys using coconuts to simulate horses galloping, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Or just knocking on a piece of wood to give the sound effect of a person knocking on a door.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, in modern day, Foley is often done electronically or synthetically, I guess you could say. And with Halloween coming up, I thought, Foley is more important in movies than we really, really think, especially at Halloween time, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I found this really cool video. I shared it with you and Joe, and I put it on the WOCA Facebook page.
It is cool,
and it shows the guys doing the Foley, and it is very, very entertaining to watch and interesting, I would say. But anyway, so I will play some Foley for you and Joe. In other words, some sound effects from movies.
Oh, cool.
And I know this sounds hard, but it's going to be easier than it sounds. You will have to guess what movie, because Foley sound effects are actually copyrighted works of sound. They're actually, what do you call it, intellectual property.
Yes. Isn't that interesting?
So the sound effects, let's say for Tarzan, which, by the way, I have a Tarzan sound effects story for you when we come back. And
nice.
I'll do that one before we do the serious debate talk stuff. But anyway, Tarzan's yell, for example, is a patented sound.
Really?
Yeah. Wait do you hear this?
I thought it was his. I thought it was Johnny Weiss.
Well, no. There's no certainty about that.
Oh, okay.
Johnny Weissmuller said it was his, and when he would do it live, it sounded just like it, so it probably was him. But wait till I tell you. It's an interesting story. And then on the Galen Unold segment, there's an article going around the country, around the world, actually, that's trending right now, and you're going to love the topic.
Oh, okay.
21 things you don't really understand unless you live in Florida. It's a trending topic around the world. All right, we'll take a little break and be right back. This is WOCA.
Fox News Radio, I'm Rich Dennison. The House is set to get a new speaker today. Wisconsin Congressman Paul Ryan.
Our party has lost its vision, and we're going to replace it with a vision.
The 45-year-old Wisconsin congressman needs 218 votes by the full House to be elected speaker.
Fox Radio's John Decker. Ryan expected to get the needed votes this morning. In the latest GOP debate, Republican presidential hopeful Mike Huckabee says our government is failing America's seniors by letting Social Security crumble.
If this country does not keep its promise to seniors, then what promise can this country hope to be trusted to keep?
The CNBC debate on Westwood One featured the top 10 GOP candidates in the polls. The Kansas City Royals take a 2-0 lead over the New York Mets in the World Series. The Royals beat the Mets 7-1 last night. The Mets host Game 3 tomorrow night. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Steven.
Who's
said that?
Me, down here.
What are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
Well, what are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. Don't you remember me? Don't you know that we miss you?
Miss me? Who misses me?
You know, all your friends in the forest. The trees, the pond, that little fort that you made out of branches. We all miss you.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
The forest is not that far away. Have an adventure today. I'm sure your mom would take you.
You're right. I should get out. I want to have fun. Play in puddles, catch frogs, and climb trees. Hey, Mom!
Yeah, hon? Steven, what is that in your hand?
It's my sense of adventure, Mom. It's telling me we need to get out of the house and have some fun in nature today.
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Are you wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars on termite retreat fees? If you're not with Turner Pest Control, you probably are. Turner Pest Control offers the industry's only termite and pest control package that never charges retreat fees, ever. You can get started today for only $99. This is a value of $500 or more. This includes treatments, installation of monitoring stations, quarterly pest control, and a lifetime guarantee, all for an unbelievable low $99. Even if you have another pest control provider, visit turnerpest.com to find out how you can avoid paying those high termite retreat fees.
Ooh, ouch. Does pain have you glued to the couch? Yes, unfortunately it's true that every year we must get older, but that doesn't mean we have to deal with pain in our back, knees, or shoulder. If your muscles and joints are sore, don't worry anymore. Come get acupuncture from me and you'll be pain-free. Acupuncture starts as low as $35 at a Better You Healthcare. Call me, Dr. Erica Olstein, at 615-5566. Stop your pain from driving you insane.
Robin, let's try a little plant trivia. Name this nursery. It's a not-for-profit, and it teaches growing and caring for plants to their students.
Oh, that's easy. Kenny's Place.
Or how about this one? It's a nursery conveniently located between Ocala and Bellevue.
Again, it's Kenny's Place.
Or how about this one? A nursery with a wide variety of just what you need or want at the most reasonable prices.
Kenny's Place, of course.
Kenny's Place at 7677 Southeast 41st Court. Give them a call at 867-1213. It's a caring place for people and plants. It's Kenny's Place.
Career Source Citrus Levy Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source Citrus Levy Marion and learn how they can help you.
That was the sound of a tree falling. It could be your tree. You're going to have it trimmed, but never got around to calling Pride Tree Service. It could have fallen in a field, and now all you have to do is call Pride Tree Service, and they'll have it quickly out of the way for a great price. But don't wait until the tree falls. It may not fall in the field. It may hit your car, your house, or worse. So call Pride Tree Service today and avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 840-0750. That's 840-0750.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
WOCA.
Your source for the #1 sports weekends. Fox Sports, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM.
All right, 25 minutes before 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. 65 degrees. 65 degrees here at the studios. That's cooler than what we're normally used to, isn't it? 65 degrees.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got a few things in the news. And no ribbon cuttings we need to mention today?
Nope, nothing more for this week so far.
All right, I want to make sure we talk about the debate, last night's debate, this half hour. So, but just bear with me a little bit. We've got other things, plus I got this little Tarzan thing I want to tell you about.
Okay.
Let's see. A NORAD blimp that is supposed to alert us to airborne threats turned into a threat yesterday. Yeah, I'm sure you heard the story. The blimp came untethered from its mooring in Maryland and floated north into Pennsylvania. its cable dragged along the ground during its journey. We were hearing this news as we were driving. Where did we go yesterday? Somewhere after here.
Yeah, and nobody knew what the blimp was.
Well,
Was
the reason they didn't, you know what it was now, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Now you just told me what it was. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it was a NORAD blimp, and it was the size of a football field. They say that's huge.
It is huge.
2 F-16s were even scrambled to watch over it. The blimp finally came down in a rural area. NORAD is trying to find out why it got loose. That's crazy.
You think they would have been able to, catch it with an anchor or something and then just kind of guide it somewhere?
Somebody's going to invent something now. There's going to be a new invention, how to catch a runaway blimp.
Yeah.
The invention will never be used because it'll never happen again.
Right.
But there'll be an invention.
Well, it's like a harpoon, You have this harpoon, you put a rope to it, you send it up there, you put it, you attach it to its gondola and then just anchor it down.
It sounds like a superhero kind of a thing. You have to have a guy, Captain, what do you call it? A gondola?
Yeah.
What did you call it? Captain Harpoon.
Gondola. Yeah, Captain Harpoon.
I'm going on Facebook. I'm trying to see what my my New York friend posted about the Mets game yesterday. He's a big Mets fan. Almost everybody I grew up with on Long Island is a Mets fan.
Yeah, but that was really funny when you told me that he wrote that they shouldn't have gotten on the plane even before the first game.
Yeah, let's see what he wrote about last night. Let's see what he wrote last night. I should call him and tell him.
You should. He
didn't post anything new. He didn't post anything new.
Oh, he's probably still reeling from the
He's
defeat
just not happy
night.
with them.
Well, they're flying back today, I guess, so we'll see what happens. Wonder if he's got tickets for the game.
Let me see. There's a lady I know in New York. We were children together, so I still call her a girl, but she's a lady now.
but in your memory, she's a girl.
She's a big Mets fan too. Let's see if she posted anything. Come on. Oh, she posted a picture of a T-shirt that says, "I may seem quiet and reserved, but if you mess with me while I'm watching the Mets, I will break out of a level of crazy that will make your nightmares seem like a happy place." Well, they're really into it, obviously.
Very
All right,
serious.
so what happened? The guy who would know is in the next room, by the way, Tom Schmitz.
Yeah.
Let's see. Compared with Game 1, Game 2 was something of a letdown. The Mets and Royals only played 9 innings. The power stayed on the entire time. There were no rare inside-the-park homers to cheer for, and it rained. Despite all of that, it turned into a pretty decent baseball game anyway. The Royals came from behind to win 7-1 and take a 2-0 lead in the series behind great pitching from Johnny Cueto. Cueto?
From behind, so it must have been 1-0, and then you would have thought it might have been 20-0, but it's 1-0.
He pitched a complete game, giving up just 2 hits. For you non-baseball fans out there, that's pretty good. Game 3, and I read that, I didn't know that. Game 3 moves the action to the Big Apple tomorrow, to New York, where the Mets will try to dig themselves out of a hole. Well, tomorrow, I wonder if they'll be there tomorrow, the people I know.
Yeah, I wonder if they have tickets for the game, or if they're going to be boycotting them in the parking lot.
I would guarantee. Well, I can't guarantee. I would bet. I would bet that Jimmy McCauley has tickets to the game. All right. So before we talk about the debate, real quickly, something on Tarzan. Now, the person who would know the answer to the question: did Johnny Weissmuller do the famous Tarzan yell, or was it a studio creation? Wow. The answer the person who would know the answer to that question passed away, unfortunately, recently, like last week.
Yes.
Bruce Mozart, the late, great Bruce Mozart, who you've heard us all talking about on this show and also on Buddy and Tom show. He probably would be the one who could tell you, was that yell actually done by the man who played the role of Tarzan? There was a guy, actually the yell was in the book, He was described in the book. Of course, you wouldn't know what it sounded like by reading it. So they had to figure out what to do. And there was a character, or an actor rather, who played Tarzan before Johnny Weissmuller.
Yes, there was in the silent films.
Well, there was a. Let's see.
Oh, there was in the
I found another one. Yeah, in 1929,
was it Cabot? Was his last name Cabot?
Frank Merrill.
Oh, okay.
In 1929, there was an early talkie called Tarzan the Tiger, featuring actor Frank Merrill, during which Frank takes an effort at doing the Tarzan yell, and I guess it worked at that time because nobody knew any difference. But then Then came the Tarzan yell that I just played. Johnny Weissmuller was an Olympic swimmer. He had no acting experience. He stepped into the loincloth and defined the role of Tarzan and the yell. For decades to come, Weissmuller later said that his famous version of the Tarzan yell was inspired by the yodeling of his German neighbors.
See that? So it's got to be him.
Along with his own success in a yodeling contest that he had won as a boy. And people who said they saw him said that he would do the yell. But anyway, MGM, the studio that made the Tarzan movies, claimed to have enhanced the yell in post-production, which is possible.
Oh, enhanced. So but it's still him.
And listen to what they added.
Okay.
If they're telling the truth, they probably are. They added a second track of Weissmuller's voice, amplified. So, it's his voice, and then a second track. And back in those days, that wasn't always something that was easy to do. They added a track of a hyena howl played backwards.
Oh my God.
They added a note sung by a female opera soprano with the speed varied to produce a fluttery sound. They added the growl of a dog, the bleat of a camel, and the raspy note of a violin's G string being bowed.
So with technology today, can't we put that yell in one of those computer things and then ask it to strip it down and see what it really is? From the movie? I thought it could do that.
Johnny Weissmuller denied that there was any sonic trickery that I just described. And in many public appearances that he did up until his death in 1984, he was always honored when people would request him to perform the signature yell. If it lacked cinematic reverberation and high fidelity, it still sounded pretty much like you hear on the screen, according to everybody who heard it.
I bet it did.
Anyway, we're not trying to take away from Johnny Weissmuller. I just think it's interesting. And what we will do today with the whole Foley topic, which sound effects in movies is called Foley. There might be somebody who knows more about it than me who will say, no, not all of it. So the way I understood it when I read what Foley was, because I wasn't sure if synthetic sounds were considered Foley, like if you have a keyboard or something that can make a sound.
Right.
But when I read up on it, it said synthetic sounds were considered Foley. So.
And when we were in Universal Studios all those years ago when the children were growing up, they, we went to the Foley sound stage and we actually got to see them do it. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. They asked for volunteers from the audience.
Anybody want to hear some sound bites from the debate last night?
Oh, yes.
First of all, do you want to know who won the debate last night?
Yes.
Did you see any of it?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I even forgot it was on, and that's not like me. So
the results of the Economist YouGov poll are in my hands, and the results of the CNBC Republican debate poll is in my hands. Both of them agree that Donald Trump won last night's debate.
Oh, good.
Both the Economist, YouGov, and the CNBC poll both put Trump at the top. Trump on the CNBC poll gets 47% of the vote.
Wow.
The Economist gives him 32%. Carson is in second place in both polls. He gets 18% in The Economist and 16% in the CNBC. Marco Rubio is third in The Economist with 11.
Oh, really?
But Governor Christie is third. Oh, wait a minute. I think I'm reading this backwards.
Oh.
No, let me re-say this. Trump was first on CNBC.
Okay.
With 47%.
Okay.
Ted Cruz was second on the CNBC poll. I thought Ted Cruz was awesome last night.
Wow, nice.
Ted Cruz was second. Ben Carson was third on CNBC.
Okay.
Marco Rubio was third on the Economist poll. When we come back, I'll play some of the sound bites and we can talk about the debate.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Well, we can start the day with areas of fog. We'll see times of sun and clouds. It'll be nice and warm, maybe a shower at the coast. The high 82 to 86. For tonight, partly cloudy skies, lows in the upper 50s and low 60s across the interior. Mid to upper 60s at the coast. Tomorrow will turn out mostly sunny, high 81 to 85. For Saturday, sunshine and some clouds, high 82 to 86. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
If you're anything like I was, the thought of getting older was the last thing on your mind. But here we are. For me, it started slowly. The lack of energy, never being in the mood. And when I was, I could never perform at my best. I I tried the pills and other treatments with minimal results, and all but given up on my sex life. Then I found the doctors at New Male Medical Center. Wow, they made a new male out of me. Feel like I'm 25 again. I have renewed vigor, so much more energy, and no longer worry about my performance. New Male treated me like my situation was one of a kind, with a custom treatment plan that really works. I feel great. They can create one for you too. It does not matter if you suffer from low testosterone, erectile dysfunction, or just want to last longer. New Male will help you.
Call New Male Medical Center today at 352-404-4779. 352-404-4779. That's 352-404-4779. It will change your life. 352-404-4779.
Located next door to Silver Spring State Park and a few minutes from historic downtown Ocala, our award-winning Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites of Silver Springs is the place to stay for a friendly, memorable, and fun experience. Enjoy our fast and free Wi-Fi, complimentary hot breakfast, and free parking. Whether you're in town for work or play, our friendly staff will make you feel right at home. That's the Holiday Inn Express and Suites of Silver Springs, proud sponsor of Friday night Marion County High School football on WOCA, The Source.
Who doesn't love heading out on the boat with a family, hitting the ATV trails with friends, or blazing new stretches of highway with riding buddies? Your toys are your ticket to outdoor fun. At the McDonald Allstate Agency, we get to know you and help make sure you have all the right coverages. Plus, when you bundle your coverage for your car and your home with your boat, motorcycle, RV, or more, you can save up to 30%. So call the McDonald Allstate Agency today at 622-2333 or stop by one of our 2 Ocala locations at Calla Hills or the Jasmine Square Plaza.
Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary.
The Kingdom of the Sun Concert Band, under the leadership of conductor Les Muncaster, presents the musical presentation Veterans Like the Stars. It'll be on Sunday, November 8th at 6:30 p.m. at the Ocala Marion County Veterans Memorial Park. Free admission. Bring your families, your friends, your blankets, your lawn chairs, and join the Kingdom of the Sun Concert Band for a very special evening of music, fireworks, and good old American spirit. For more information, call 624-9291 or go online to kingdomofthesunband.org. All right, 12 minutes before 8 o'clock. Don't forget Veterans Day. You know, Veterans Day sometimes gets lost in the mix of all the other holiday stuff, doesn't it? But we have such a really great veteran-friendly community here in Ocala, and I sure hope that we're not unique. I hope the whole country is this way. And the Kingdom of the Sun Concert Band is one of the reasons that we are very, very much aware of our veterans. And, of course, Hank Whittier and Vets Helping Vets is another reason. And plus, we have this great Veterans Park. We have this wonderful Vets Park, and so many people, some people who have passed were responsible for that park. All right, I went on a tangent there, didn't I? All right, let's talk about the debates again. All right, so here's what I had here. So Donald Trump was in first place on CNBC. Ben Carson was in third place on CNBC, and Ted Cruz was in second place.
Okay.
I think on this particular list, they have him in... I don't know what order they put him in here. I'm not really sure. This doesn't seem like any order. That's why I was a little confused. Okay, but Ted Cruz is second. Ben Carson is third.
You said Ted Cruz was awesome.
He was.
Last night.
Oh, gosh. I'll play a clip for you, and then you'll see a little example of that. In the Economist poll, 32% for Trump, 18% for Ben Carson, and 11% for Marco Rubio. But there was another poll from the New York Times and CBS. The CBS and New York Times poll were combined, and they gave Carson the top rating at 26%, with Trump getting 22%.
It's still close.
So anyway, so three different polls, sort of kind of similar results. All right, so. Let's see, this first one, where are my notes on my sound bites? I think I can remember them without seeing my notes. The first one, I believe, is where one of the moderators, moderators, asked the question, isn't this like a comic book campaign? Isn't this like a comic book campaign? Oh. Kind of an interesting, kind of a condescending thing to say, isn't it?
Yeah, well, who did they ask that question to?
Donald Trump.
Oh.
Here's his response to that one.
Is this a comic book version of a presidential campaign?
It's not a comic book, and it's not a very nicely asked question the way you say that. Larry Kudlow is an example, who I have a lot of respect for, loves my tax plan. We're reducing taxes to 15%. We're bringing corporate taxes down, bringing money back in, corporate inversions. We have $2.5 trillion outside of the United States, which we want to bring back in. Dynamic.
I talked to economic advisors who have served presidents of both parties. They said that you have as much chance of cutting taxes that much without increasing the deficit as you would of flying away from that podium by flapping your arms really.
Then you have to get rid of Larry Kudlow, who sits on your panel, who's a great guy, who came out the other day and said, I love Trump's tax plan.
Good for him.
I love Trump's comebacks.
But that moderator is out of line. He should just ask questions, make sure they follow the allotted time frame, and move forward. You don't sit there and become like that. That's bad form.
Trump wasn't the only one they picked on. CNBC Republican debate moderator Carl Quintanilla, who might be the one we heard there, was booed by the audience last night after pressing candidate Ben Carson on some of his corporate associations. The NBC Nightly News Weekend anchor first asked Carson about his membership on the board of Costco, which has been called the top, quote, gay-friendly brand, unquote, in the country, partly because it provides domestic partnership benefits.
It's a wonderful store.
Why, Quintanilla asked, would he associate with a company that runs counter to his own conservative Christian beliefs? I believe that our Constitution protects everybody, he answered, regardless of their sexual orientation. I do not have the soundbite, by the way. I just have the quote. He went on to say there is no reason why you can't be perfectly fair to the gay community. They should not automatically assume because you believe that marriage is between one man and one woman that you are a homophobe. This is a myth that the left perpetrates on our society, unquote. That was all from Ben Carson. Quintanilla... Is that what I'm saying? Quintanilla? Then asked about Manatech, a nutritional supplement maker that claims the ability to cure autism and cancer, and paid millions to settle a lawsuit in Texas. Quintanilla asked that yet your involvement continued. Why? And then Ben Carson responded, quote, I didn't have an involvement with them. This is total propaganda. Wow. In reality said he did a couple of speeches for them and other people. It is absolutely absurd to say that I had any kind of a relationship with them. Do I take the product? Yes, I think it's a good product, unquote. Quintanilla then said the homepage of Manatech's website once featured Carson's picture with a logo over his shoulder. Carson responded, if somebody put me on their homepage, they did it without my permission. Quintanilla asked whether that spoke to Carson's vetting process. As Carson attempted to answer, the crowd booed. Apparently, at Quintanilla's questioning, Carson smiled.
Good.
And said they know.
Good for him.
Wow, cool.
Good for him. Good for
cool
him.
Stuff. Chris Christie also came across pretty good, I thought. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie got fed up with questions about whether the federal government should regulate fantasy football.
Gee.
At the presidential debate.
Who gave him those questions for those moderators?
Should the government regulate fantasy football? And then Chris Christie said, we are talking about getting government involved in fantasy football?
Yeah.
He says, wait a second, we have $19 trillion in debt, people out of work, ISIS and Al-Qaeda attacking us, and we're talking about fantasy football?
Good for him.
Can we stop? Again, I don't have that soundbite, but
good for him.
I'm going to share that with you.
Good for him.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz could be seen nodding in agreement. Cruz himself had blasted the moderators earlier in the debate for their line of questioning that he said didn't focus on the real issues. I do have that soundbite. Let me play that one for you. Here's Ted Cruz.
The questions that have been asked so far in this debate illustrate why the American people don't trust the media. This is not a cage match. And you look at the questions. Donald Trump, are you a comic book villain? Ben Carson, can you do math? John Kasich, will you insult two people over here? Marco Rubio, why don't you resign? Jeb Bush, why have your numbers fallen? How about talking about the substantive issues people care about?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, those moderators have egg on their face.
Oh,
They're disgusting.
man. Well, it seems like they were all of the candidates that were up there were basically under fire from the moderators, which is kind of weird, isn't it?
It's very weird.
I mean, what kind of moderator? Well, the word moderator doesn't even apply in this case.
No, not at all.
Marco Rubio also shined regarding this issue. Even though he didn't show up too well in the polls, he did pretty well, I thought. Republican presidential candidate Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz slammed the liberal media in last night's debate at the University of Colorado in Boulder for applying double standards to conservatives and for not asking substantive questions. Robin, help me with the pronunciation.
Substantive.
Rubio said, quote, "This is another example of the double standard that exists in this country between the mainstream media and the conservatives." He made that statement in response to a question about an editorial from a Florida newspaper calling for him to resign because he has missed many votes in the Senate because of the campaign. P.S. Jeb Bush also suggested that he resign. Jeb Bush also railed against him for not making all those votes. So did I, by the way, in yesterday's show.
Yeah, no, they need to pay attention to their job.
Rubio noted how such presidential candidates as John Kerry and Bob Graham, Senator Barack Obama, all missed as many as 70% of their votes. Well,
they did.
Bad argument. Yeah, but it's a bad argument. You don't point out how other people didn't do their job in order to justify not doing your job.
That's right. That's correct.
I like a lot of stuff he has said. I like a lot of stuff all of them have said, but there's a few things that all of them have said that I'm not so happy with.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I do have another soundbite. This one is from Ted Cruz. This is kind of along the same subject. I just like the strength of this. I like the strength of this because Ted Cruz has not come across as strong, even though he is. Mm-hmm. And if you were listening to Glenn Beck yesterday, he said something pretty remarkable about Ted Cruz, and that is that Ted Cruz has this ability to recall word for word everything that he has ever heard anybody say.
Oh my!
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
That's what Glenn Beck was saying. They called it not photographic, but audiographic or something, an audiographic memory. So in other words, if you were to give him, a document, let's say the Affordable Health Care Act, to look at, to read, it wouldn't be burned in his brain. But if somebody were to read the whole thing and he heard the reading of the whole thing, he would have it completely memorized.
Wow. Isn't that awesome?
How does somebody do that?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what Glenn Beck was saying yesterday. I'd never heard that before. But anyway, with that in mind, as I was watching the clips from the debate, I thought, wow, this guy can remember everything anybody ever said to him. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine that?
For sure.
Be careful what you say to him. He'll remember it. But anyway, so here's Ted Cruz. What is he doing here again? He is, he's comparing the way the moderators are dealing with the Republican debates compared to the way the moderators dealt with the Democrat debates. In other words, he's saying, look, the moderators are clearly in favor of the Democrats winning. Mm-hmm. That's what it appears to be. Here's the soundbite that I'm talking about.
Let me be clear. The men and women on this stage have more ideas, more experience, more common sense than every participant in the Democratic debate. That debate reflected a debate between the Bolsheviks and the Mensheviks. And nobody watching at home believes that any of the moderators has any intention of voting in a Republican primary.
But I asked you about the debt limit, and I got no answer.
Okay, all right, you want to answer that question? I'm happy to answer the question. I'm happy to answer the question, but let me tell you how the question is. Let me tell you how that. Let me tell you how that.
Senator Paul, I've got a question for you.
So you don't actually want to hear the answer, John?
Senator Paul,
you don't want to hear the answer. You just want to insult.
You used your time on something else, Senator Paul.
You're not interested in an answer, John.
I'm interested in an answer from Senator Paul. Senator Paul, the budget deal.
All right, we got to go. This is WOCA Ocala, and on the other side, we'll talk something else. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Carmen Roberts. Republican presidential candidates blasted the media during last night's debate, saying the public wants real questions about real issues. This viewer in Las Vegas weighs in.
The moderators are fueling that fire. Luckily, some of the sensible candidates have said, hey, everyone up here has good ideas, better ideas than anything we heard in the Democratic debates. Let's talk about the issues.
U.S. stocks poised to open lower. The Dow Industrials jumped 198 points yesterday as the Federal Reserve chose not to raise interest rates. And Kansas City smashes the Mets 7-1 to take a 2-0 lead in the World Series. Mets manager Terry Collins says New York needs to pitch better.
They live up to exactly what people said, and that is to put the ball in play. And like I told Jake, that not everything has to be a strike.
Game 3 tomorrow in New York. Fox News, we report, you decide.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I'm 19 years old, and this is how I live united. I've always been kind of a computer geek, and I found a way to use those skills to help the homeless in my community. For people facing hard times, computer skills and a basic resume are so important. It may seem like a small thing, but it makes a huge difference in people's lives. So with United Way, I created a program where I work with the homeless. Together, we go through their whole job history, write a resume, and then save it on their very own USB drive. We provide workbooks and training certificates. I even budgeted for cupcakes so we can celebrate as a class when one